Good morning, everybody. So today I want to talk about irritability, just minor irritations. A lot of us get into recovery because we're having some major emotional issues with things like depression, anger, very strong emotions. And a lot of what we do addresses that, but we don't always talk about just the minor irritations that we have in life, and it is important to look at those a little bit and where they come from. And today, in The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle, he talks a little bit about how to deal with those and how to use minor irritations throughout your day as a spiritual practice to help you prepare for how to handle some of the bigger things that might happen in life. So I'll read a little bit and then share some of my experience. He says, so whenever you feel negativity arising within you, whether caused by an external factor, a thought, or even nothing in particular that you are aware of, look on it as a voice saying, attention, here and now, wake up. Even the slightest irritation is significant and needs to be acknowledged and looked at. Otherwise, there will be a cumulative buildup of unobserved reactions. As I said before, you may be able to just drop it once you realize that you don't want to have this energy field inside of you and that it serves no purpose. But then make sure you drop it completely. If you cannot drop it, just accept that it is there and take your attention into the feeling, as I pointed out earlier. So, here, one of the things that he mentions is just dropping that irritation. And it's taken me a while, but I feel like I've started to get to the point where sometimes I can do this. And it's been really hard. And, even minor things that happen during the day. Someone saying something that I kind of feel like I need to get defensive about, or even my peace and quiet being disturbed by a car alarm outside, which you'll get to in a second. These little things can lead to negative emotions that kind of compound and can cause problems for me. So he offers a more comprehensive solution that I'll read about now. He says, as an alternative to dropping a negative emotion, you can make it disappear by imagining yourself becoming transparent to the external cause of the reaction. I recommend that you practice it with even trivial little things first. Let's say you are sitting quietly at home. Suddenly there is a penetrating sound of a car alarm from across the street. Irritation arises. What is the purpose of the irritation? None whatsoever. Why did you create it? You didn't. The mind did. It was totally automatic, totally unconscious. Why did the mind create it? Because it holds the unconscious belief that its resistance, which you experience as negativity or unhappiness in some form, will somehow dissolve the undesirable condition. This, of course, is a delusion. The resistance that it creates, the irritation or anger in this case, is far more disturbing than the original cause that it is attempting to dissolve. So, we get irritated, for example, here's another one. You're sitting in a restaurant, having a nice meal with somebody, and there is all of a sudden someone comes and sits at the table next to you with a crying baby. And your meal is interrupted by a very loud, very upset child sitting next to you. And I've had this happen, and in my addiction, I would have allowed it to cause me great irritation. In recovery, I found it to be a really good opportunity of focusing my mind on what's important and also building a little compassion, because I've been in that situation before. I know what it feels like. And, compassion for the child who's obviously uncomfortable in their own situation. Compassion for the parents who obviously are not, doing anything like this on purpose. And so you can use these little irritations as an opportunity to build up your spiritual foundation and to practice all of these things that we talk about so that you're ready for the big things when they hit. And he explains this a little further. He says, all this can be transformed into spiritual practice. Feel yourself becoming transparent, as it were, without the solidity of a material body. Now, allow the noise or whatever causes a negative reaction to pass right through you. It is no longer hitting a solid wall inside you. As I said, practice with little things first. The car alarm, the dog barking, the children screaming, the traffic jam. Instead of having a wall of resistance inside you that gets constantly and painfully hit by things that should not be happening, let everything pass through you. Somebody says something to you that is rude or designed to hurt. Instead of going into unconscious reaction and negativity, such as attack, defense, or withdrawal, you let it pass right through you. Offer no resistance. It is as if there is nobody there to get hurt anymore. That is forgiveness. And I thought that was significant. The idea that not allowing yourself to be hurt as forgiveness. That's a cool concept. In this way, you become invulnerable. You can still tell that person that his or her behavior is unacceptable if that is what you choose to do, but that person no longer has the power to control your inner state. You are then in your power, not in someone else's, nor are you run by your mind. Whether it is a car alarm, a rude person, a flood, an earthquake, or the loss of all your possessions, the resistance mechanism is the same. So I like this because I do think that if we don't practice how we react to the small irritations of life, we're going to have some problems when those big things come up. And in the early part of my recovery, it was like nothing could touch me. Everything was fine and dandy, and I felt really, really good about everything that happened in my life. But as time went on, these irritations crept back in, and I started finding that foundation wasn't as strong as I thought it was at first. And I've got to put some of these spiritual things into practice on a daily basis in order to try to shore things up, in order to try to stay strong, so that when life does get stressful, when life does get lifey, then I'm able to employ those same spiritual tools in order to deal with that. And we're given opportunities all the time to do this, and that's how you look whenever his point here is that whenever a negative emotion arises, that's what we want to do. Use it as an opportunity to put some of these spiritual practices into our lives to try to build a better spiritual foundation. Use those as an opportunity, and really grab onto them. Something negative happens in your life, don't shy away from it. Don't run away from it like you used to do. Figure out what's the right thing to do with it. And he gives some great advice on how to both let things go and let things pass through you in this passage we just read this morning. So I hope you're all doing well today. Hope you have a great Tuesday, and I will see you back here tomorrow with more.